Now they have a second
I'll write
video.
it and you'll do it live.
All right. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to a show. I'm trying to get one done. Things are not going well over here. I've been paying decent money to Streamlabs Talk Studio, formerly Melon, which apparently has just shit the bed and caused me to shit my pants with rage. So I'm rolled back to this, free account that I've got over here on StreamYard. Anyway, joining me today, Jay, my brother, and below, emotional support Canadian, Michael of the Canadian Atheist. We're going to be talking about the election results and, other things. To those who are joining, slowly trickling in, I apologize because any of the links that I shared before were all for the previous one with the Talk Studios link. That'll be a product I'm boycotting. So, yeah. Canada won't be that better come next year.
Yeah.
Are you guys anticipating some right-wing buffoonery there?
Yeah. So our current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, will likely not win re-election against Pierre Poilievre, who is on the conservative side, or like our Republicans. And so it's not gonna be great, but I'll still be able to go to the hospital and get my feelings checked for free. So,
well, that's good.
There's so much, Jefferson. There's so much. So I'm taking over for a second. So in 2016, I had to get. I still remember. I will never forget this day. I'm watching the election, and it's not going well. But I had a stupid early meeting. A meeting I had to drive to. I had a 2-hour drive the morning after. So I had to go to bed early. So I went to bed when it was not looking good. And I remember getting up and throwing myself together. And as one does in the morning, you're sitting on the throne. And I opened my phone to Trump wins presidency. Yeah. And I laughed. And I woke my wife up. She's like, I still remember, what the hell's so funny? And I said, he fucking won. She's like, yeah, I saw that last night. Let me go back to sleep. And the difference was, this time I had a similar situation as fate would have it. Although 2 days ago, when I woke up, I and I haven't been able to stop shaking my head since. I'm just shaking my head. People think I have a neuromuscular disorder.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I'm going to say this real quick. I've got a few things here that I can share. And I do want to talk about some of the mechanics of how this works, especially for people who watched it. And there's lots of there were old conspiracy theories and there's new conspiracy theories happening. So I want to present this. Let's share screen. Let's see. Let me share this one. So if anybody can see this, I just want to read this, and then I'm going to leave this open to you guys to see if you pick out what's blatantly wrong with this. This was written by Shane Goldmacher, Maggie Haberman, and Jonathan Swan of the New York Times. It says, how Trump won and how Harris lost. So far, so good. He made one essential bet, that his grievances would become the grievances of the MAGA movement, and then the GOP, and then more than half the country. It paid off. Anyone see a problem there? It's kind of a math question.
Yeah, I was absent that day.
So I'll jump ahead.
I came unprepared for a pop quiz, John.
The basic problem with this is that right now he's at about 72. There's about 72 million votes cast for Donald Trump, which is roughly a little more than 1/5 of the total population of the United States.
Okay,
not half, 1/5.
Right. Yeah.
The other 1/5 cast their vote for Kamala Harris, which means 3/5 of the country, the entire population, didn't even bother to vote. That's normal. Now, we'll be honest. Well, what about the felons? They're about 1 to 2%. So we'll shield them out, but that's basically nothing. But kids, out of the entire population of the United States, the total non-voting eligible population, everybody under the age of 18, would have been around 20%, about a fifth, which gives us eligible voters of the entire population, eligible voters. This was between 2/4 of the entire population, and slightly one larger quarter has decided what the other 3/4 plus their kids have to live with. Not over half. He didn't convince more than half the country that he's the guy. He convinced a disgruntled, like if you're including kids as people, he included an incredibly disgruntled, activated, and agitated group of 1/5, slightly more than 1/5 of the U.S. to go out and vote for him. This is important to keep in mind because he won, or hang on, I can't remember what his totals were in 2016, but in 2020, when he lost, he got more votes. He had 74 million votes, the most votes that any presidential candidate had ever gotten before, except for Biden, who beat him at 81 million.
Right.
Blitzed him. That's it. He was done. Now he's around 72, probably going to close at about 72.5. So he's probably going to he's going to close about 1.5 to 2 million voters shy of his peak in 2020. Whereas, Kamala is about 14 million short of what Biden earned back in 2020. So this is encouraging a lot of weird dialects and dialectic and dialogue amongst the pundits and stuff, including shit like that. Now, this is just sloppy to me. So I want to bring that up because there are two conspiracy theories happening. One is the reason that she voted is because apparently some kind of cheat team that was activated to help Biden with additional 15 to 20 million votes just didn't seem to get the memo. And the other is that there are some lefties that are thinking that somehow Harris votes were disappeared. Neither one are plausible.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm sure as you guys as well, the majority of my list of people on social media are pretty like-minded. Although my Facebook is completely open because of the podcast, so I have a lot of people who disagree with me on there. But most of them, they lean to the left, or they lean less to the right because what you guys consider left is funny. But it's an interesting thing. Prior to Tuesday night, my biggest is I have to go back a little bit. The reason why y'all are having to deal with this now, and there's nothing gonna be revelatory here, but one, you don't live in a democracy, right? You have this dumb fucking electoral college thing.
Yeah.
He would not have won in 2016 had you just used the popular vote like, I don't know, everybody else. Well, I mean, we use first past the post here, but basically it's still number of votes equals winner. So you would have never had to deal with him. And you wouldn't have had to, and if he would have gone again, I'll go again and I'll try again in 2020, he would have lost then too. Yeah. And I don't think his ego would have allowed him to stick around for a third time of getting trashed. But this time, he also lost she lost the popular vote too, which is weird to me. But I've been talking to a lot of people over the last couple of days, and I'm curious as to what you guys what you guys think about this. The majority of people that I've spoken to feel that she didn't differentiate herself enough from Joe Biden, and too many saw Biden 2.0 and said, "Nah, bro, I don't want that."
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, I think there's, if you want to go back to the elemental problem, the essential problem was that she I should probably change this. The urge to kill rising has nothing to do with it's my urge to kill technology. Must crush computers. My
It didn't pop up. It's too long.
How are you not here for emotional support, Jay?
not here for it. So when they started, so I guess what they needed to do way back in the day, during the pandemic, Joe Biden had floated the idea that he was going to be this bridge candidate. He wasn't going to go for a 2-term. He was going to be the guy to like jump in and heal whatever Donald Trump messed up, and then open it up to others. The midterms screwed that up. So in 2022, there was supposed to be a red wave, and then there wasn't. And following that, I think that they were energized, thinking like, well, this is a good sign for him. That means we should just run him as an incumbent candidate. That could have been okay had they run him a particular way, which would basically be to run him almost absentee. You run him in there, but you don't engage with Trump. You don't do debates or anything like that. You just you blow Trump off.
Yeah.
I always thought it would have been better, even following that, for him to announce that he was going to be that bridge guy, and he was going to open it up for a primary, because a Democratic primary would have sucked the wind out of the sails. So the Republican primary which was just going to be Trump victory announcement after Trump victory announcement. It was going to get boring in the media, and so the media would then turn its attention to focusing on new Democratic talent. That's a great way to get a lot of different Democratic candidates out there in the public, honing their skills, honing their messaging, all that kind of stuff. They squandered that moment. So by the time they get to the State of the Union address that he gave, he knocks it out of the park, and they're just like, great, instincts are kicking in. We didn't get wasted in 2022. He decides to rerun. He does the State of the Union address. He kills it. Everybody's thinking like, hey, this old man's got the grit still. And then they set up these 2 debates, and they're like, yeah, we're going to put him in there, and we're going to have him like fight him Mortal Kombat style. And then he biffs it. They never should have had him actually do that. If they were going to if he could still do those speeches, that's great. But then they should have told Trump, like, yeah, you can't debate. You're just a child. It's like yelling at it's like, getting into an screaming match with a kid that is upset that he dropped his ice cream. There's no point. If they'd done that, they probably would have been fine. I think they still would have had depressed turnout. The one thing that is really important to understand about this, I think, is that if you are looking at exit polls, the exit polls from Trump voters are citing things like the economy, which they don't understand. Because a poll came out, Dan McClellan, I wish I had this on there. I can't share it, but he posted it on TikTok.
I saw that.
It's an Ipsos Reuters poll, and it's basically asking them, like, do you understand if this is correct or not? And the Democrats did, and the Republicans didn't. And so they're going to vote accordingly, right? And it was things like, do you understand that inflation is down to about average levels now? That doesn't mean that prices still aren't high.
Yeah.
It just means that inflation is down to average levels. Democrats got it. Republicans didn't. Things about it, immigration. Immigration is actually at a low right now, thanks to some executive orders that, Biden put in. Democrats got that. Republicans didn't. So a lot of the stuff is being formulated based on fantasy. The thing that bothers me the most about following this kind of stuff is that when they ask these people, the economy bothers me. I'm worried about immigration. You always have to wonder, like, okay, what about immigration bothers you? They give you a Pine Creek Doug answer, and you're like, oh, okay. So you got that from a graphic novel. I can excuse you and say you're a fucking weirdo, right? Like, that's not actually how immigration works. So go away, weirdo. But the third one that I thought was fascinating, and I've been just obsessed with it, the cost of gas, the price of gasoline. When gasoline was a price concern for Americans following Hurricane Katrina, the reaction to that was a run on small cars and hybrid vehicles to the point where dealerships could charge a premium on even used ones, and an almost inability for anyone, especially later on, an inability for anyone to unload a full-size pickup truck with a V8 engine. That's what a concern for high gas prices looks like. Someone driving a full-size pickup truck that costs them $850 in a lease payment or a finance payment a month is complaining like, I think my gas prices are too high. That's somebody that's just feeling a little bit ego bruised that the government is not like fronting them a little bit of like a reduction in cost for operating a vehicle that they use to reinforce their identity. That's the point. That's what I get. So,
yeah, and when I love it when Americans complain about gas prices to a Canadian, and you think I think it's bad, right? Like then try complaining to someone who lives in Europe. So basically, I pay the equivalent. Well, I don't pay anything because I drive an electric car, but my wife pays the equivalent of about, because she has to put premium gas in her car. She pays the equivalent of about $6 a gallon. Your national average right now is right around 3.
yes.
So
Yeah.
eat a dick, right? Like it's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. And to your point about the whole hybrid vehicle thing, which is just hysterical. So after Katrina, I still had a hybrid. The dealership I bought the car from came to me and said, basically, we'll give you damn near what you paid for your car and put you into a new one because used ones are so hot right now. I drove a car free for basically 2 years. And then they put me into a new car, made my payment the same, right? It's dumb. It's dumb. What you said with inflation, our inflation rate for last month was 1.6%, a little bit lower than yours.
Right.
The eggs I buy are still, if I do the equation again, if I do the math in my head, I'm still paying about $4 a dozen for eggs. That has fuck all to do with anything other than price gouging.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. I want to show this short here. I'm going to share this out because I think this bears a little bit of reflection. Let's see here, Chrome tab. All right.
Watch StreamYard blow up on Jeff.
So I think this is interesting to actually pay attention to because this is actually starting to affect my channel. And so for everybody that watches this, especially everybody in the live stream, take a look at this and let me know what you think let me know what your theory is about what's happening here before I play the rest of it. Or, well, I mean, before I start commenting on it.
Jeff and I have already talked about this. So.
Yeah, we've talked about it, but
going on that is terrifying me. When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers. I texted Jesse Dollamore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar. And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers. Record cancellations of paid memberships. Record cancellations. These are the people that keep the show running. So now I understand what is going on.
You are full of shit.
There is something.
So it's charming that Doug caps that off with a punchline that involves Duterte saying you are full of shit. But what I think is fascinating with this, and while I'm waiting to see what people are going to say, Army of Me says, "Oy vey my subscribers." That's not really the point. What I think is weird about this is that Doug puts this together and he's like, ha ha ha, these guys are losing subscribers because Trump won. Yeah, okay, cool. How does that track with what happened before? When he won in 2016, the reason David Pakman has as many subscribers as he's got is because of Trump's first term. His channel blew up. Midas Touch blew up. All these other channels blew up from 2016 on and covering Trump and the pandemic and all this other kind of stuff. MSNBC their ratings went through the frickin' roof. They eclipsed Fox News in the years between 2016 and 2020. Not every year, and not every quarter, but quite often, because people were basically looking for, you know, the kind of counterpunch to, you know, whatever the mainstream word is going to be coming from the White House. This is different. If Doug believes in like free speech, and Doug has claimed in the past, I like talking to people that disagree with me. This is people who disagree with him leaving because they're afraid that they will be identified with left-wing channels and targeted.
I think there may be something more to it than that. Like, I don't think you're necessarily wrong, but I think there's also more to it than that. So I have a paid subscription to David Pakman. I also have a paid subscription to one of the MTN shows, Legal AF, because I like those guys. I think they're fun to listen to. I haven't canceled my subscription with either one of them, but I haven't watched them the last couple of days because I'm intellectually fatigued from what's gone on.
Right.
So I think that's also a part of it, right? Like, there's been so much buildup, right? You know, like that, you know, that old meme, right? You know, it's the hope that kills you. Well, it's not the hope. Like, the hope didn't kill me, but it tired me the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It leaves you wasted.
I'm just tired, right? That's why I'm drinking tonight. But no, and so I just need a break. It's not that so might there be people that are doing that? Sure. Especially since your Mandarin Mussolini has said very specifically he will target his enemies. So are people freaked the fuck out over that? Yeah, probably.
Well, and that brings me up to my next point, because I was asking Jay about this earlier. So oftentimes when people talk about this kind of stuff, that kind of rhetoric coming from Trump, people will be like, well, you got to take that with a grain of salt, man. You know, you can't take it so seriously. And I always wonder, like, wait, okay, so when Trump goes on Fox News and starts talking about the enemy within, and then when pressed and he starts to go in deep, he starts talking about Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi. It kind of sounds like to me what he means are his left-wing or liberal enemies, political enemies that he's going to deploy the army against. That's sort of how it sounds. And then these defenders kind of come out there and they're like, no, it's not that bad. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. So what did he actually mean? Well, you know how it is. I'm like, no, I don't know how it is. What are you talking about? Well, Trump just talks that way. Like, he talks what way? And he talks straight.
So he does mean it.
So he does mean it. Well, no, not exactly. That he doesn't talk straight. He ain't a straight shooter. So to what extent is this actually true? And to any extent, if like these guys are seeing a reduction, like I see a reduction in my subscribers when I logged in here, there's a red negative and a number next to it of people withdrawing from subscribing from my stuff because I cover this kind of stuff. I'm critical of Trump. I'm critical of right wingers. So under normal conditions, if free speech is cool and everything, and somebody like Doug is interested in talking to somebody like, oh, I don't mind talking to people that disagree with me, you should see these numbers kick up. You should, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be more interested in it. The people that are leaving, my guess is, this is my theory, if they're leaving Majority Report with Sam Cedar, Luke Beasley, David Pakman, any of these other people, it's because they don't want to be associated with this and they're tightening up their social media profile because they don't want to get targeted. Because they did take that rhetoric at least a little bit seriously, or at least they're at a 50-50 thing. Flip a coin. Should I hope for the best and plan for the worst, or plan for the best and hope for the worst? Like, how does it, what's the best here? What do I do? So yeah, this is not good.
And I think that there has to be, you have to, like social media can be a place where people come together at its best, and a place that forces people to harm themselves at its worst, and everything in between those two things. And so you have to use social media as you see fit, and you have to safeguard yourself as you see fit. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the things that you do with your social media. or otherwise, and yeah, you just like it's. So I mean, to those people who think they need to do those types of things, I say, like, if that helps you sleep better at night, fire it the fuck up. Do whatever you have to do. If you need to unplug for a little while or disengage, okay, take your time, heal, recuperate, drink, whatever, like I typically only drink when I'm on vacation. That's why it's kind of a big deal for me to be liquoring it up tonight. But
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. And so it's, like whatever you have to do, there's no rule book as long as you're being safe and stuff like that.
I think, and I don't know what to tell people because, I mean, for the most part, I think the three of us sitting here, obviously in your case, you're much safer. You're in Ontario. I'm just giving the general area. My brother and I are
in Toronto. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, again, try to find him. Jay and I are in relatively liberal states, and they're relatively well protected, but we don't know what's going to actually happen with this guy, and we don't know how he's going to try to stress test some of the newest rulings that the Supreme Court have rolled out for him. Like it's not illegal if he does it as long as it's official duty. My thinking about what's going forward with some of this, like when Doug I think like Doug doing a video like this, he's thinking like, aha, you guys got called out, and the reason people are leaving is because you told them that Harris was going to win and she didn't. And I'm like, that's not why people would leave his channel. That's not it. Not and like I don't know how many actually left. He's saying 5,000. 5,000 wouldn't have left because, Pac-Man was saying it was close. He wasn't saying anything like she's definitely going to win and it's all over and Trump would never come back. He did. I never heard anything like that. If he did and everybody abandoned him because he was some kind of false prophet, that would make sense. I really think Doug is trying to paint it like that.
Yeah, he was Doug is missing. Pretty conservative about that.
Yeah, Doug is missing the bigger story here. The bigger story is there are YouTube viewers out there that are distancing themselves from certain content because of a fear of a reaction from the government. That's not good. That is not good.
Especially since that government's not even installed yet.
Yeah. And it's the irony for me that kind of slaps me is that this is the party of small government. It's so hysterical.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting. No, I agreed. Like David Pakman was always he was very conservative. He said for 18 months, this is going to come down to 250,000 votes over 5 or 6 states, shit like that. The only guy that I heard who was much more who kind of tilted the scale of being very optimistic was Brian Tyler Cohen.
Yes.
He was very optimistic. He's like, I believe in my heart of hearts, we are going to win this thing. And so he was the one who I thought, and it was funny because I saw him do a video after it was all said and done. He didn't even bother putting a shirt on. He just had a hoodie on. He was so dejected. He's like, I'm just throwing a fucking hoodie on and doing a video. Like he was so.
Well, I saw part of his live coverage and I could tell, I was like, he is not looking at that information with a lot of optimism.
No.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I want to bring this up. JL says, how much do you think we'll have to worry about this now red state we're all in calling a constitutional convention? That is a good question. It depends. I would say he brings up a good question. It depends. The House has been predicted to. It's been predicted that it's going to go into Republican control, but not yet. So I think it's going to depend on that. If the Republicans have a 3P, a 3 sweep, and they have enough numbers where they feel that they can do that, they might. So for those of you who don't know, a constitutional convention is if you've got enough members in position, you can essentially call the votes and call in a rewrite of the Constitution. You can start adding amendments. You can start changing amendments. That doesn't often happen. It can be very, very messy. I don't know that Republicans will feel like they have the majority necessary in the Senate and the House in order to do this, but you never know. I have no idea. It'll depend greatly on whether or not there is some kind of right-wing theory on how they can rat fuck that process. If they have that, there's a very good chance that they could do that sometime within the next 4 years. If they do that, it will be very, very important for us to negotiate a relationship with another country so that we can get out.
Yeah,
their idea of a constitutional convention, it would be a contract with the devil.
It's funny. I was joking, not joking about, and I was talking to my wife about it, and I said, kind of like, haha, joking, not joking. She's like, yeah, don't put that up there. I was gonna put a post up on Facebook saying, our spare room soon to be seen on Verbo, right? And and
I would like to audition for that.
Yeah, it was just, I meant it tongue in cheek, and she's like, you don't understand. So it's because we have, I was kind of going through my head. It's like all this stuff. So including you guys, right? California, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, Utah, Nebraska, Maryland, and New York. Those are all states that I have friends in, that I genuinely care about, that are all on the evil left hand, the evil left side. And it's just like, fuck. Like it's genuinely scary. It's like, I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, we could buy another house. We could, stuff like that. But and again, kind of joking, not joking, but it's just really crazy. And the most heartbreaking one was, two dear friends that we met on vacation years ago that live in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and they took pictures and posted them on Facebook, with their two little kids wearing blue shirts, and it was all four of them together saying we voted for them, right? And the whole fucking blue wall just evaporated, right? And it was so heartbreaking to see.
Jesus. Maya says, no one knows what to tell people. We won't know how bad it is until he starts doing stuff. That's exactly right. He's already starting to do stuff. There was already news now about who his chief of staff is going to be. It's Wiles, something like that. So I don't know what her ideology is. We'll have to see what happens there. Again, there's this whole problem with dealing with him in terms of, if there's any similarity between this term and the next and the last term, it's going to be because he was playing golf all the time. But yeah, she brings up a good point here.
Do me a favor. Sorry, Jeff, but do me a favor. Can you share my screen real quick of California?
Sure. Let me answer this question. Coco's asked, do you think Trump will try to enforce third term, or he's not this crazy serious question? Technically, it would be a violation of the 22nd, the 22nd Amendment, I believe, that limits presidents to 2 terms, consecutive or non-consecutive. It doesn't matter. A friend of mine from Taiwan actually was asking me this. Will he try to make the argument for it? I think he will. Yes, I absolutely think that they will try to make that argument.
Yeah. The other thing that scares me is,
look at all that red in California.
It's like if they do have that kind of like that three pieces of the puzzle, Jefferson, like you had said, they've already been able to do so much gerrymandering without that degree of control.
Yeah.
One of my thoughts was, well, they can just rewrite that map any way they want now, and there's never another Democratic president.
You need to push them back out.
Which sounds like like doomsday kind of thing, but is it so? I don't think it's such a reach.
JL says, or Vance and company will wait until Trump underperforms in the midterms and they'll invoke the 25th and Vance will take power. Yeah, that's actually an interesting one. Yeah, if the midterms result in a pushback and Dems, become ascendant again, They could probably do that. I don't think that they will, because there's one big problem with that. Trump would have to do something that jeopardized Republican power in a way that made him an inexcusable traitor to the cause. Otherwise, anytime you try to like knock down the king, you're showing to the other side that there was a weakness there. I don't think that they're going to be willing to do that.
I guess the reason I don't buy that is he's just like, I mean, he's not a politician. Two, he's dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
And like, to me, again, he's a useful puppet.
Yeah.
You stroke that ego or anything else.
I hope you guys like Stephen Miller making policy changes.
Yeah, and that's a big trick, right? Like that's a big problem with this, is that a lot of the stuff that he's been talking about, a lot of the shit that he's been gaming has been based on a lot of the people that he's already got in play.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be Stephen Miller's rhetoric. It might be Steve Bannon's rhetoric. It's going to be a variety of different people. The one thing that he's already done is he's blown through a lot of generals over at the Pentagon. So he's talked about bringing back Michael Flynn, who's disgraced. So what? I don't know much about the military. That's a morale issue, right? Like,
can he?
When did he talk about bringing Michael Flynn back? What the fuck?
There was a flippant comment made about like, oh yeah, we'll get Michael Flynn back. He made it at like one of his rally speeches. Like it probably wasn't even a prepared one, because some of his handlers are probably like, yeah, don't bring that guy up. You don't want to bring up the past. But he did. He said that, and I was like, okay, well, he might be one of the few generals that you can bring up.
So it's about bringing. Well, he was excommunicated from the clubhouse, but he might have another chance.
Yeah,
you can bring it back
Let's take a look at this one. This is his most recent. This is Alan Lichtman.
Yeah, and, boom.
13 keys. Oh fuck.
The 13 keys. They were always scientific until Al Gore and George Bush, and then they were scientific until now. I like a lot of this guy's analysis, but he got this 13 keys thing from a physicist. It just strikes me as like astrology, but I've always liked hearing like some of his insights on politics. So let's see what Doug does here.
That's why my prediction system, with a 40-plus year track record, predicts that Kamala Harris will be a new path-breaking president, the first woman president.
Trump is winning 51% of the Hispanic vote in Pennsylvania.
What?
That's what CNN is showing right now.
Was that possible?
I'm kind of in shock right now. I've been
our country.
I think it's gone. It's just not. There's just not enough room to make up. The math isn't there.
No, the math doesn't work. At what point should we pack it in?
Whenever you want.
Oops. Okay, he's gonna play that sound again. I fucking hate that track. So this dude can always turn around and say, you know what? I'm going to revise my model and say that, because he had kind of done this. She had the keys, but one of the keys that was sort of in flux there were two keys that were kind of in flux. One, a national crisis, national emergency, and two was whether or not she was an incumbent. I think he kind of ruled out the incumbency thing, but the interesting thing about this situation, this is what I would put out there, because he's like, there's no real national, there's no agreed upon national emergency issue. That's the problem. There was a national emergency in the minds of Trump voters.
Yeah, the economy.
They were all getting this information. There's an invasion at the border. The inflation is out of control. The Democrats are doing both of those things to you. These are things that need to be stopped. His model does not account for active disinformation, and so he's going to really have to change that. And I don't think his model works anymore. I think it's over. He's not going to be able to try to try to do this. I mean, he might in 4 years. We'll find out.
Can I just say, to take this opportunity to say, so happy Doug's your problem now.
I wish he'd go back to Manitoba.
Nope.
Really?
I think the Mennonites could really straighten him out. I think he
No.
needs Jesus.
No, we have
He needs Jesus and hard work.
we have
Cheese.
we have Canadian geese and moose lined up with bottles of maple syrup to repel that fucker. He's not coming back.
He's not coming back. Good to see you back. Hope you're doing okay. Just stopping through to commiserate. Yeah, good to see you. 8:30 to awesome. Yeah, it's been weird. Maya says if we have midterms, yeah, it could be. Yeah, there just could be some kind of like star chamber.
Michael's gonna instantiate the no true Canadian fallacy, but say it's a truism when it comes to Doug.
It is.
It is.
He was never Canadian.
It's delightfully contradictory. Yeah, it's
Well,
wonderful.
no, it's funny. So we share. So, Jay, I don't know if Jefferson told you this, but we were chatting back and forth about Doug, and I had no idea what part of Canada he was from, because the Western provinces are very conservative, and Jefferson was threw his hand and was like, "Oh, I know, he's from Manitoba," and I sent him a text back saying, "Yeah, it tracks." Like that tracks. Yeah.
He did. Yeah. I was like, yeah, he said he's from Manitoba. And there you could actually, it was weird. You could see the disappointment in the font that Michael used. It was like
Tracks. It's just
minimized to 9 point. Like, wow.
Yeah.
What? Wow. Party Quebecois wants to strengthen the border to keep the Americans out too.
Say what the sure it's a joke that Canada offers asylum, but not a possibility as our incoming government loves Trump and the advocate unsafe country.
What did you say, Jeff? Jeff, it's Parti Québécois.
Quebecois. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Quebecois or Quebecois?
Québécois.
Quebecois.
Quebecois is if we're talking about more than one Quebec person.
Parti Québécois.
Quebecois wants to strengthen the border to keep the Americans out too. I mean, I would expect that from Montreal.
Well, yeah, but also like so the this is still something that burns my ass, because I still remember the Quebec referendum, where Quebec only remained part of Canada 51-49. So I'm not a massive fan of the Quebecois in general, and but it doesn't surprise me that they want to keep. That doesn't surprise me that they want to keep Americans out.
Grasso, how is Bolsonaro doing? I'm just wondering. Let's stop that screen. Let's see. Yeah, let's try this one. 20 million votes missing. What is this?
Yeah, that's the one I was telling you about.
All right, this is from Brojo. Brojo has 1.5 thousand subscribers. Not a lot, more than me.
Who the hell's Brojo?
Brojo has been around for a long time, and he's been in the debate community for a while. I believe he's an atheist, but he's also
a
conservative.
He's a pantheist.
He's a pantheist. He plays guitar. He smokes marijuana. He's just all around just awful. Anyway,
I get along fine. I get along fine with Brojo. It's just this.
I'm just making fun of guitarists and weed smokers.
Is that like a guitar pick with? Yeah, it is with a leaf on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's called 420 Cafe. I mean, come on.
Saskatchewan don't want Americans either. We're too right wing as it is. That's true. Yeah.
That's true.
Saskatchewan, I think, would only accept Americans if they showed up, as part of like a worker, like a pipe fitters union or something.
Oh yeah, I mean the Saskatchewan, Alberta, the oil stuff out there is huge. A little bit. I think maybe a little bit more in Alberta. I spent some time in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Quite a while ago, But
Brojo says Matt Beck says Brojo hangs on Math Pig's side of the community
No.
usually. Is Math Pig still around?
Math Pig's still around,
yeah,
but Brojo was doing his thing long before Math Pig was ever on.
Okay, let's try this. Where is Math Pig? I haven't heard from him.
I've seen him around.
All right, let's play this and see what happens.
Hey everybody, what's going on? I certainly don't want to rain on the parade because I am enjoying this day, Trump winning the election. But I can't help noticing a bunch of votes that are missing. Let me explain. Currently, if you see my screen, 200. Trump's got 292 electoral votes. Harris 224.
God, that's
They got total number of votes 71,882,361. Harris 67,016,107. So we're talking roughly, right, 134 million votes around there. Now, yet Nevada is still count, but Nevada 1.2 million maybe votes there total. In total, Arizona 2 million votes. Alaska 2 million votes. So maybe 200,000. So maybe roughly 2 million more votes there, bringing us up to 140 million total votes. Okay? Keep that in mind. Keep that number 140, 138, 140. Keep that number in mind. Now, let me go.
Hey, Jeff.
Next page.
Yeah.
Let me go over to Wiki.
As of right now, only 58% of California is counted.
Yeah, that's always a trick. That's how they found out after a while. Like there was like, you know what? The popular vote for Hillary Clinton was actually over 3 million because of like the additional votes they counted.
Yeah, but bear in mind everything that seems to not be finished counting is all in those areas that I showed that are leaning red.
Yeah.
Just to throw that out there.
Also wanted to say, as someone who's, enjoying some libations tonight, maybe I shouldn't comment. But this guy, how fucking baked is he when he made this video? He could barely talk.
Probably super baked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And give us the 2020 election results. Okay. 2020, Donald Trump got 74,223,975 votes. That's actually more votes than he's got now. Okay.
Okay.
But Joe got 81,283,501. Now we're talking about 155.5 million total votes. 155.5 million total votes. Right now we're sitting at 138, 140. Okay. So we're looking at a 15 million vote difference. It was about 20 million earlier when I first looked at this, but now it's narrowing. But still, 15 million seems like a lot of votes. A lot of people. Did they not vote? 15 million decided not to vote. You're talking about a 10% reduction in the vote. And that would mean on both sides. That means less voted for Trump and way less voted Democratic.
Trump is at 70.
Now then, this runs, does this feed the conspiracy that there were...
What'd you say?
How many total votes did Trump get in 2020? Did he say?
74,223,000.
It's at 73,182,000 right now.
Okay. With how many?
Well, there's only 71% reporting in Arizona. There's only 91%, so they're not finished in Nevada. California, like I said, is only 58% reporting.
background states. How'd they call them before they were all counted?
Although it doesn't surprise me though, because like nobody does apathy like liberals, and we see that a lot in Canada too. Like, what's the point? So it doesn't surprise me that fewer people voted.
And that's sort of the trick. Like, the biggest problem that she had, and I felt it too, was that, she was trying to do this whole thing where she was going to like reach across the aisle and we're going to get Liz Cheney involved and Dick Cheney. Like, oh my God, even the Cheneys. Like, nobody in the Trump orbit gives two, shaky shits about what those guys think about. That has nothing to do with anything. The idea
they'd be the one putting together the gallows to hang Liz Cheney.
Yeah, exactly. And so the problem with this should have been, you need to excite the left wing base, and they never did that.
But they had Katy Perry.
Obama's position following
No,
George
they had
W.
Taylor
Bush.
Swift.
Yeah, and Beyonce.
Yeah, they did, and it led to no increased amount of. But here's the thing: he's slowly ticking up to where he was in 2020, which means that he got the same amount of people then that he did now. That's it. So it's not like there's some kind of like revolution. Like, now if he'd gotten like 85 million votes or something like that, and then he could run around saying like, yeah, I've got a mandate. He doesn't have a mandate.
No, but he never even, at least from my perspective, his base is his base is his base. And his base was always and only and ever going to vote for him anyway.
Right.
And he seemingly wasn't interested in even attempting to broaden that. Right. All he did was keep hammering away at the same people, stoking the same fears, and with the same rhetoric. And that was that. Like he's never reached out to try to get anybody. In fact, how many times did he say, I don't even want your vote? He said that about lots of different groups of people.
Right.
We don't even need your vote. Turns out he was right.
Yeah. Let's see what Brojo says here.
A lot of votes unaccounted for last election. Could it be? Is 15 million votes a lot of vote difference between elections? I think there's something to think about. Where did those votes go? Or did they even exist in the first place?
This was sexism. She was never going to get votes from a bunch of people in the Rust Belt. Yeah, there was that. The only way that she was ever going to do that is if it was part of some kind of like populist left wing, vaguely left wing, worker revolt thing, which she wasn't associated with. But one of the bigger problems with some of her campaign was that if you're running a woman in a campaign, you always have to factor in the sexism thing, because there's always going to be guys that are just not willing to vote for a woman because they're pieces of shit. But if that woman is particularly qualified for the job, you always usually end up having to throw some kind of like counter, factual at him to kind of get him to like do something. Under Republican circumstances, you could have done some of the stuff that she had done in California. She jailed drug users. What I find interesting about this is that while that is a deficit for her amongst left-leaning, liberal voters, Republicans never talk about it. Never. Like, they just consider, like, that's an example of her being a hypocrite. Like, she was virtue signaling in the opposite direction. Her true colors came out later. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, wait, what are you talking about? What's going on here? I don't think going forward, and this is sad, I don't think going forward that any campaign is ever going to, actually, I'm going to make this prediction. Based on what we saw in this election, and based on whatever's going on culturally, the first woman to get elected in this country will be conservative. She's not going to be a left wing.
If at all, like if at all.
If at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, we had we had a female prime minister. She was conservative. Her name was Kim Campbell. She was prime minister for about 93 minutes. It's an interesting story. Go look it up. But yeah, like it's interesting you say that because we had the female prime minister and she was a conservative. Margaret Thatcher was not crazy liberal. And so it's interesting. I made a statement years ago, and I'll say it again here. I will preface my statement by saying I don't agree with the statement. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. And I think if my statement was wrong, the world would be a better, safer place. The statement is as follows. Men run the world. They always have and they always will. And I wish it wasn't that way, right? We see it, we see it in terms of leadership in companies. Canada's a little bit better. We have more female CEOs. My wife is one of them. And and stuff like that. But it's not, there's nowhere close to equity. And I think it's because, frankly, men who aren't comfortable enough or self-aware enough, they're scared. I don't know what they're scared of, but they're scared, right? Also to what Maya said, I don't like sexism. Yes, sexism. How much of it was racism? I don't know, right? It's hard to know as a white dude. I just don't know. But I think that both of those things were factors for sure.
Yeah. That's sort of what I'm seeing now. Hang on just a second here. Let's grab this. All right. Maya says Biden stayed inside. He barely campaigned. Record turnout. That's exactly right. Kamala has Obama level excitement and depressed the vote. Yeah, it's absolutely bizarre. I don't understand it, and I do understand the Biden thing because there was such antipathy towards Trump and the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. I kind of got it, but it didn't make sense that it was like over 80 million votes. It was insane. Like, he really got a lot. And I'm sure like somebody like Brojo here is going to say, well, it's because it's the cheat team. The cheat team did it. But she said Kamala has Obama level excitement and depressed the vote. That bothers me quite a bit because I was excited about her being a candidate. There was a bunch of excitement about her in terms of merch, a bunch of excitement in terms of her on the campaign trail and the conventions.
Yeah.
Any of the speeches, they were all huge. What was it, 75,000 at the
ellipse or something like that? Yeah, it was something stupid like that. Yeah. No, but it's interesting. Right? Like, I remember back to when it was Hillary and Obama, right? Coming down to it that way. I was surprised, and then I wasn't surprised when I took some time and thought about it. That I think it was very, very telling that the U.S. somehow was more ready. The left side was more ready for a black man than a white woman. Now, not that Hillary Clinton was perfect. Christopher Hitchens wrote a book called "No One Left to Lie To," which is an expose on the Clintons. I suggest you read it.
It's a good book.
They were not perfect by any stretch, still, and now the choice was someone who the campaign that Trump ran was at best hateful rhetoric, and at worst, many times largely incoherent. where he just
Yeah.
fucking babbled and did the double jerk dance, right? Exactly. I said that he's getting ready, he's getting warmed up for prison in the shower.
Yeah.
But
It's like he's jerking off a couple of giraffes.
exactly.
Yeah.
The only thing that was left was a spitting in the palms. But it was, they were more ready for the psychopath than a biracial woman.
Yeah. And my relatively conservative brother-in-law has said multiple times, I've been surprised by it. He's been telling me, he's close to me in age. He is ashamed to be a white male Gen Xer in America because so many of them voted in a bad way. And I mean, there's nothing for that. I mean, you're in the group that you're in the group with.
I'm in that group. Yeah. And there's nothing I do. But I try, like what I try to do is I try to temper it with a degree of self-awareness, right? Understanding. And like, I have this on like social media profiles, like that I go into like Clubhouse and stuff like that. You have your little profile and shit like that. And I'll put stuff like, I'll put that in my profile. Like, this is who I am. And I understand that comes with a gigantic load of privilege that just comes from being who I am. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't make myself anything other than what I am, but judge me for who I am, not for what I do, not for what I am, because I can't do anything about that. Right?
The thing that bothers me is, I'm a white dude that should be more or less unmoved by this, but as somebody who's been affected by student debt and worked in public sector, I don't know if how his changes on the Department of Education are going to help me. If he changes things, or if his Secretary of Education decides to change things, I could be broke very quickly. So, I mean, and you couple that with the environment of the language that he's been talking about, where he's gonna come at you. He's gonna use the government to, and he doesn't like the slander and the libel. I totally understand. Like, those buckets of civilian MREs that you can get at Costco. Might get a couple of those for some friends this year. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
it's so they can like kind of disappear for a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I first saw those, I saw those advertised on CNN or some shit like that. The 4 Patriot buckets and shit like that. It's like all that is I'm not sure if anybody's aware, but it's rebranded stuff that what's his name? Who's that TV evangel? Jim Baker. It was the Baker bucket. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, the Baker bucket.
It was just that rebranded. He actually had people on there. We'd say, look, you can put a piece of wood on it. It's a coffee table now, but it feeds your family. It's the dumbest shit you can possibly imagine. But yeah, no, I get it. And as someone who hasn't had student debt, thankfully, for a long time, I had to pay my own way. Like my family did not. The one piece of the privilege pie I didn't have is we grew up poor. I grew up in government housing. And so I had to take out loans for everything. And took a long time to pay it off, but it's the best, in Canada. I'm not sure what it's like in the US, but in Canada, it's the best low interest loan you'll ever get. And
in the United States, it's a nightmare. Yeah.
And so, but it's interesting. I mean, if he decides, I'm going to, all that student debt forgiveness, I don't know that there's anything he can do about what was forgiven, but if he wants to try to say, well, here's all this money we can get, we're just going to hit the collect button on all of it that's outstanding. And all of a sudden we've got whatever bajillions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Who knows, right? Because once they figure out that the tariffs don't work the way he said they work, and anyone knows that, he's got to come up with the money from fucking somewhere.
Exactly. Jail says, yeah, but Gen X is defined by its boiling anger. True. Wouldn't surprise me if they voted Trump just to see the whole thing burn down. Actually, it's interesting that you say that, Jail, because I actually have. Let me share this. National exit polls. Here we go. Are you white? Sex by race, each group, age by gender, men in this group. 45 to 64, 60%. They voted for Trump. They're angry. They voted for Trump. Then they did age by race, and it was 62% if they were white, 45 to 64. So Gen X white guys were even more likely to vote for Trump. Yeah.
It must just be an American thing.
Yeah.
Most of my friend group is also in my age bracket. I'm 53. Born in 71, Gen Xer. And it's funny because, like, do I get mad sometimes? Yeah. Like, my wife still, says sometimes she's ready to, she's almost ready to buy that shirt, get off my lawn. But I just get angry at stupid people.
Mr. Archaeopteryx, Biden didn't keep all the tariffs. He kept certain tariffs. The ones on the EV cars and a variety of other things.
Yeah. And I think, wasn't that specifically aimed at trying to impact China? Yeah, that one company, BYD, one of their car companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like yeah. But yeah, so I mean, most of my friend group are Gen Xers, and I don't know. I don't think I'm a particularly angry person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a particularly angry person, but I usually react to, like, washing machines not working, and I hate my computer. But hating people, or getting really worked up about how dare they ask for asylum? Who the hell do you think you are? That kind of stuff. I don't get.
Yeah, and I guess this is another kind of Canadian thing. Like, I mean, for the most part, I'm fortunate enough to be in a very high tax bracket, and we pay the fuck out of taxes here in Canada, and
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that, because I know that I'm never going to lose my house if I get sick, and I'm happy to do for some. This will sound like some kind of flag waving or shit or something like that, but it's how I truly believe. I think that any civilized nation can and should be judged for how they care for their least fortunate members.
Yeah.
And the social welfare programs that we have in Canada are paid for through tax dollars, a lot of them being mine. And I'm fine with that. I don't care. And if you need to raise my taxes a little bit more, okay. If it helps to keep people from dying on the street or to getting medicine, the things that they need, I'm fine with that. And this is something I've never understood about Americans in general, present company accepted, is this inability to take any type of responsibility for the person that lives next door.
Right. I don't get it. I do want to point out, Aunt Jer says, stop having sex with straight Gen X and boomer men. They don't deserve it. Boycott straight sex. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen to me. Well, Trump is in there. Like,
I'm set. I'm married. I'm married, man. I'm set.
I have to go to another country because otherwise, yeah. And that's a weird thing. Looking this way, looking like this. Yeah, I'm about 6 foot tall and I'm overweight. So when I walk into a place looking like a fucking farmer, most of the people that look at me, especially unshaven, they're just like, yeah, that guy voted for Trump.
That's interesting. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, the hard part is you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of and I don't mind it. I mean, it's kind of a safety mechanism. I get it. I don't have a problem with it, but
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can say is I do know that mail order husbands work, right? Maybe you can go the other way. Marry
You're right.
some rich, maybe marry some rich, savvy Canadian woman.
I'll lead into that. That'll be like the photo that I used. It'll be Shakes the clown.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. We'll sign you up.
All
We'll
right.
sign you up for some kind of version of what that show my wife watches, Love Is Blind, some kind of shit like that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they'll fall in love with your personality.
What I'm going to do is get my passport renewed
There you go.
immediately, and then probably come and see you in Ontario and see.
Hey man, I've only been making the offer for a couple of years now.
I know. But
yeah, no, it's weird. But yeah, I mean that kind of it is hard though. Like when you flash up those graphs, right? And when the stereotypes match up like that, I can see where I guess you choose my words somewhat. I never use my words carefully. It doesn't sting me because I'm not that person, but I can see how it would sting people.
Yeah.
Oh, Doug, I'm so glad you're America's problem now. Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I just wrote in the comment section there. I think some of those people who voted for Trump did so based on WDS, woke derangement syndrome.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
I think
there's a woke out there. We need to vote it down. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's somewhat reminiscent because Trumpelstiltskin a couple of years ago started talking about the Trump derangement syndrome, and it reminds me of your friend and mine, Ding Dong, who it takes a special kind of person, malignant narcissist, to name a mental health disorder after themselves.
Right.
And it's interesting. And usually the people that do stuff like that have no expertise in the field whatsoever. And so it's also fun for me having expertise in that field.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've got any other sources that I'm going to play. Pine Creek is still chatting. I was going to ask him.
Wait a minute. He says he wrote, "I took a narcissist test with 4 of my friends. I won."
That's a weird flex.
That is a weird flex, isn't it? When do you stop beating your wife, Doug?
Yeah, exactly. Don't ask him when he stopped sleeping with her. We know what that when he purchased that other.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, there are what, if memory serves, there are 8 points. There are 8 pieces of there are 8 criteria to NPD, and yeah, well, maybe I won't say any more about that.
We have an individual here on the stream that can actually diagnose you, Doug, if you'd like. No, maybe it's probably not professional for you to do that. Yeah,
it's highly unethical to diagnose someone over the internet.
Yeah. I wrote he freezes his own skin cancer hard as a
Doug.
coffin nail.
Hang on, Doug. Michael is a social worker from Canada. So, but you probably wouldn't trust his opinion because he is a social worker from Canada where you fled.
Their standards don't count.
They don't. Yeah. No, he can't diagnose you from online because he just said it was unethical. Doug, are you paying
Gen X?
You Manitoba moron. He can't do it because it's unethical.
Break up my DSM here.
There it is.
It's only the deaf version, but yeah. No, yeah, you very specifically don't do things like that. But yeah, it's like, anyway. My mom always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, I never listen to my mother though.
Yeah, Doug, I don't think he's willing to be unethical for you. Also, if you would like to have a conversation with me, can you not block me on your channel? I don't understand. Like you told me that you were really interested in talking to people that disagree with you, but you blocked me from leaving comments on your videos. I'm not sure why you did that. It sounds like you were feeling a little bit triggered. No, you must have blocked me because anytime I post stuff, it doesn't go through. No one else can see what I can't. Well, I can because I posted it, but no one else can see that I actually put anything down there. John Fabiano. I'll turn the show off, Doug. Oh, Pine Creek says, I didn't block you, but I can check. Well, I would appreciate that. I'll turn the show off, Doug. It could have been one of my few mods. It could have been. No, and I grant you that. It could have been. And that's happened with me once or twice. Well, once.
Maya wrote, now he's blaming his mods. God, man. Oh, man. Yeah, be the true Republican that you are and fucking take some accountability, Doug.
Now he's blaming his God, man up.
Take some fucking accountability. Jesus wept.
I do have to say that you have to be careful sometimes because there's nothing that will quite bruise the fragile male ego like saying man up. It's fun.
Or nut up. Or cowboy up.
But yeah, definitely. No, you're right.
I was blocked.
Oh.
Yes. Knew it.
Have the
your mods are out of control, Doug.
Be like Trump and establish some control over your minions, you fucker. Got to take control of those people. You don't want them running amok.
Sorry, Michael. What were you saying?
No, I just have the courage of your convictions. Like whatever you do, just have the what would our friend Ding Dong say? Have the testicular fortitude to own it.
Nobody who's dead inside says thank you, Doug. Come on, be consistent with your narcissism. Fuck.
I just said thank you.
No,
I just texted it in the chat.
What is a narcissist? Only a narcissist would demand a thank you.
No, he was that thirsty. He was that thirsty for a compliment. That's how much Canada is still in him.
I'm still not taking it back.
I thought they always said sorry.
Jefferson, he's not coming back. His picture is posted every fucking Tim Hortons from coast to coast.
Are you serious?
No, of course not.
I can actually see you doing that.
Canada's not a big country. We could probably do that if we.
What are you talking about? It's the second largest landmass on the planet.
It's a fucking big ass sprawl.
Yeah, it's really funny if you actually look.
I meant in terms of population. It's not.
Yeah, we're 10% of your population. Yeah, but no, it's interesting. When you look at maps and stuff like that, the maps are not actually scaled properly. So we are a gigantic, right, apartment over the meth lab, right? It's huge. It's huge.
So you're just waiting for the meth lab. You're waiting for the meth lab below you to implode or explode.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that place in our hometown? The one that had the meth lab above the business that blew up the wall.
It was across the street from the cop shop. Yeah.
That's the best.
No,
Jefferson is drunk. Cut him some slack. No, I'm getting drunk. I'm not.
No,
drunk
that's me tonight. I'm the drunk one.
Yeah. So.
And not drunk.
Way to not call it there, Doug. I've talked to him a couple of times, and I don't think that he's been able to actually detect whether or not I was drunk or not. So
I never ever look at side chats or shit like that. but how hard is he spamming the comments right now?
Not that hard, but
Interesting.
What in the hell?
oh, okay. Let's put this up here because he's got
I'm
a
gonna go
question
quiet
for
for a little
you.
bit.
For me. Oh fuck. Here we go.
Jefferson Spanish guy. Question
Spell my
from
name
Michael.
right. Pint,
Yeah, yeah, you spelled his name wrong. It's the Scottish one. It's the EA. Is setting expectations a good way for the woke to help them ease their negative emotions?
Is setting expectations a good way for the woke to help them ease their negative emotions?
What do you mean by woke?
Yeah, what do you mean by woke? Because if you're talking about the dumbass conservative definition of woke, well, that's just silly, and you don't know how words work. Because like if someone's this is a problem. Conservatives throw the word woke around like it's going to mean something to someone, because all woke really means is having a high degree of self-awareness around certain areas. And if you think that's bad for some reason, that's on you, Doug.
Hunter Biden wonders why we're palling around with this fascist. We're not. I agree with Maya. We're grieving. Let us fuck with a fascist. I do want to know something. If Pine Creek is listening, Pine Creek, can you give me 3 things that appeal to you about Donald Trump?
This should be interesting. Did you ever ask him this before?
No.
Oh no, we talked about that these were 3 questions that you wanted to pose to him.
Right.
Please
I know where this is. I'm not going to spoil
put
it.
the one I'm thinking of. Please put the one I'm thinking of. Please put the one I'm thinking of.
So, Pine Creek, if you did not hear it, I'm asking you, name 3 things that appeal to you about Donald Trump.
Depending on what he puts in, this could be delicious.
Don't get triggered by the term woke. Is setting expectations a good way for a person
sweetie,
to help
I'm
them
not
ease-
triggered. You don't have that kind of power.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yes, but I won't. Was that a response to the previous issue or mine?
Yeah. Because
1, he's a fascist. 2, he's white. 3, he's old. Okay. Do you have actual answers?
Yeah. No, he's too afraid to put them in there because he knows he'll get torn a new one.
Yeah, I mean that's just trolling.
Yeah.
Doug. So, do you have actual reasons why he was a better candidate?
Is Doug not having a conversation in good faith?
He's not. He's not.
Oh.
It seems like we need to channel Maya here and tell him to man up.
I don't have to answer anything. We won. No one won anything. I was asking you. I mean, this is your moment, man. I mean, the guy that you wanted won. You've done at least 2 shorts on it. What about Trump is great for you? What are at least like 2-3 qualities? Name 3 qualities about Trump that you like. I don't understand why you can't. Other than that he's fascist, he's old, and he's what was the other one? He's weird. He's white.
Yeah.
I know the white thing doesn't matter to you because you're married to a black lady and you claim that you don't see race. Like Colbert.
I love it when someone says that.
I will if you let me come on to answer. Do you want to come on to answer with the 3 of us? All right. I'm game. I know that you're looking for clips, so let's go. But now, keep in mind, if you don't answer, I'm going to kick you.
This doesn't scream narcissist at all.
Not at all. If you do not give me 3 reasons, 3 genuine reasons why you find Trump to be a valuable, political candidate, I'm going to remove you. So it's in there. No one else click on it.
Yeah, there's enough mail you go in here as it is. Bring Maya in here. Bring Maya in. That'll go over like a fart in the car.
I think he's going to last about 2 seconds.
Is this whole hair trigger thing?
No, I don't think he's going to actually answer. I think he's going to
okay.
fuck up. I think he's going to like blow it off and then.
I'm thinking he's going to say something and then he's going to start posing hypotheticals to all of us.
Mm-hmm. Now, did any of you guys realize that, back in 1972 that, no, fuck off.
When I was 1? I don't remember much from then.
I did post that link, yeah. Maya's like, God damn it, Jeff. John Bobby, I was like, no. Look, here's the thing. I don't think this is going to take very long. Doug, 3 reasons why you think Trump is good. Go.
Hang on a second. I got to do some technical stuff.
Okay, hurry it up.
Oh, come on. I got so many tabs open.
Okay, your screen's looking blue.
Yeah. While I'm doing this, are you talking personally, character-wise, or policy-wise? What are you asking?
I just want 3 reasons, 3 real ones from
Reasons for
why he's a good candidate. Go.
why he's a good candidate. Immigration, foreign policy are the biggest 2, and then I would say lower taxes.
Nope, none of those are right. Sorry, Doug. Those are not right. Kick guessed. No, none of those are actually real. So the big problem with immigration is that most of the stuff that he actually presented to people wasn't real. The problem with foreign policy was that most of the stuff that he presented in terms of that was stuff that was built on by other diplomats and shit. And what was the other one that he
Lower
he
taxes.
said? Lower taxes. He did lower taxes, but I'm pretty sure, based on some of the stuff that I've seen before, his prospects now, anyone making under $400,000 a year is going to be looking at slightly higher taxes. So, wrong. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You had me banned, man, for quite a while. So, and you could have checked on that. In fact, I think you had me banned before you begged to be on this channel the last time. So, sorry, dude. Eat a dick.
Isn't it the case that the tax cuts that were first implemented from 2016 to 2020 were only for like the exceedingly wealthy?
They were polished out for the exceedingly wealthy for corporations.
and corporations. Okay.
Yeah, well, the ones that for the basically from what I heard from our accountant, this is coming from me and my wife's accountant, was that the part of the tax plan, the tax reform plan that was to pertain to the middle class, upper middle class echelons and lower than that was not fully buffed out. Basically, they rushed it. They made sure that they got it good for those who were rich and the corporations, but for the people below it, they were just going to have to figure it out. So what happened was, as a bunch of people started losing certain benefits, or they didn't know how to actually work it. So come every year, like my wife and I, we were getting fucked out of thousands of dollars every year because businesses didn't know how to adjust people's withholdings depending on how they filed. So even though I filed married and zero, I ended up, and my wife was doing the same thing, because the tax reform plan wasn't honed out right. We ended up owing a shit ton of more money back because we weren't taking the time to withhold extra money so that we wouldn't get fucked at the end of the year.
The same thing actually happened to me was that I had always filed zero and single, and I would get, based on my income, I would usually end up getting anywhere from $500 to $800 as a return. A year after that went through, I think I got $150, thanks to Trump.
Interesting.
That's how much in taxes he took from me. So that happened to a lot of people. Doug here is saying your opinion is not right. No, my opinion is right. You're fucking stupid. He says, Jefferson, you are a wrong all caps just because you're sitting in all caps. He's saying that I'm wrong about my opinions. You can't be wrong about your opinions. Your opinions are your opinions.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That seems like, and I'm just a dumb social worker. But
now, who is being bad faith? I will admit that I'm being bad faith. I don't want you on here asking us a dozen questions. I asked you for 3 reasons, and you gave me 3 stupid ones.
Opinions are 1,001% subjective. How can your opinion? It's like, I don't like marble cheese. That opinion's wrong. The fuck?
Yeah. Don't like vanilla ice cream? You're wrong. Like, if you say that vanilla ice cream tastes exactly like burning candles, you might be able to make the claim that that person is wrong.
Yeah.
Now, but subjectively, if they are tasting burning candles every time they eat vanilla ice cream, maybe they need to get their brain checked.
Or those people
maybe having a stroke. Yeah.
Or those people that have that genetic component that whenever they eat cilantro, that they taste soap.
I have that. But I love it. I love it. Yeah. I have the genetic component that says, like, you will not like cilantro. It tastes like soap. It does taste like soap. I love it.
Cilantro to you tastes like soap?
It tastes soapy. There's a bitterness going on. Yeah, there's all sorts of weird stuff going on with it. I love it.
To me, it just tastes like a stronger parsley.
Oh, wait. Hang on. With all you taste in cilantro is like a parsley?
With a little bit more of a hit, a little bit more of a bite.
Oh, no. Cilantro for me, yeah. It's got like a cleaner taste. I love it. It's strong, spicy.
Well,
zesty.
yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah, because I don't taste the earthiness like you do in parsley with cilantro. It is cleaner.
You guys are fucking weird.
Jefferson says Jefferson says, Blind Creek says, when I came on, I gave my opinion of 3 reasons. You just said I can't be wrong about my opinion. I asked you for 3 reasons. I did not ask you for your opinion. Yeah. I asked you for 3 reasons that would buttress said opinion. And you gave me shit. Those reasons
now
don't
you're not
track with reality.
You weren't specific enough at the beginning.
I should have been.
You got to qualify these and put in a writer.
Immigration is a problem. No, it isn't. Taxation is a problem. No, it's not. The crime is a problem. No, it's not. Those aren't real. What the fuck are you talking about? Give me something real. And until you can, fuck off.
It's sexy when you get angry, Jefferson.
No, it's not. It's annoying.
I'll see you in Ontario later.
But that's just my opinion, which could be wrong.
He's seen me angry a lot. It's just annoying. Doug voted for rape. People are not safe around him. There is no place for him in society. Oh my God, jail.
Voted for rape. Damn. I don't get it.
Oof.
Voted for rape.
Maya says he's gone for a full day now. Did you ban him?
Oh no.
Holy shit. Mods in action. Those are good mods. Thank you, Mod. All right. He's not wrong. No, and I know, and I appreciate that. You and John Fabiano were both against me bringing him on here, but I did bring him on here to dunk on him a little bit. So thank you.
Does that mean he won't be able to see anything?
All right.
Oh, he can still see.
Oh, okay. He just can't
don't care. Fuck you, Doug. And she says, I was having fun. Whatever. I love my mods. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up here. We've been on for more than an hour and a half. I think we probably ought to go. It was good enough for a politics stream. Thank you, everybody, in the live stream. And thank you,
Jefferson, what's the over-under that I get mentioned now by Doug?
Even though you're from Canada.
Yeah.
You can't possibly make things spicy.
What's the over-under?
Please tune in later. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If I continue to lose subscribers, I'm gonna assume it's because other people are removing themselves from associations with leftists, and maybe I will too. I don't know. With that being said, we'll get out of here. Michael, do you have anything that you want to say to anybody?
Yeah, I'm just curious as to what the over-under is on me getting mentioned.
Oh, you're muted, Michael.
I'm muted?
No, you're not. I can hear him just fine. I can hear him.
Hello.
Okay.
There we go.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering what the over-under is that now that I've kind of interacted with Doug, that I get mentioned in some way and I'm some kind of like, woke libtard or something like that.
You're Canadian. You don't count.
Okay.
No, he is Canadian, so I imagine he's gonna burst like a flare on the sky. Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Michael.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry. Yeah.
No.
He's got. Yeah.
No, don't apologize. Bring it. Hey, because so we'll burst it. We'll let this cat out of the bag, I guess. Doug, if you're still watching, listening, or anything else like that, I was the Canadian that Jefferson had said, "Hey, I know a Canadian that wants to bring you on and tell you you're full of shit." That was me.
Hi.
Jay,
do you have you got anything that you want to bring up?
I thought it was funny. DeFreak wrote in the live chat like attributes. Yes, his orange hair, his orange face.
He also wrote free speech oppressor. All right, folks, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you very much for showing up. Like and subscribe, or don't, or send stuff to me, jeffersonspatchcock@gmail.com. Michael's podcast link is in the description for this video, so if you want to check out what he's got going on, you can go check that out. His streams are good. I've listened to approximately 2.5 of them. I'm trying to listen to more.
That's okay.
They're very good. And he's got great guests, really good guests.
We recently had on a quick little thing. We recently had on Melanie Trechek King, who is a science educator. I met her for the first time at Baja Con back in August, where Jefferson was going to come, and he didn't because he didn't have a passport. But he's coming next year, and
Hopefully.
she's fucking amazing. Smart is sexy. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and my brother Jay, who's got his own channel. Go check him out for more trolling. Other than that, I think we can get out of here. So,
cheers.
Bye.
Let me play out a little weird video here, and we'll be out of here. Ooh, it's still got my videos. This is cool.